Yeah. Yeah. This internet different. People losing peace, losing sleep, losing themselves. And some folks turn pain into content. Sad little game. Fetch, throw 'em a bone, now the whole pack's stirring. Whole chat room alive, all the timelines turning. Throw 'em a bone, now they swear they bold. Till them legal letters make the whole vibe cold. Shame, shame, shame. What a gang, gang, gang. Everybody hungry for a quick little flame. Selling up their soul, just to mention a name. Look at them, yeah. I toss one crumb and the circus awake. Same folks lurking every move I make. Views look tired so they reach for bait, then disguise obsession as commentate. Funny, y'all don't care who pushed to the brink, long as outrage trend and the numbers still blink. People taking losses left, right every week, but compassion disappear when attention peak. That's pitiful. Whole panels gossiping night to night. Ring lights glow, but the spirit ain't right. Everybody loud to reality bite, then suddenly everybody wanna talk healing online. Too late for the speeches. Let me hand you a mirror. Take a look real clear. Eyes tied so warm, still chasing applause from strangers every year. That's rubs. See, I go toe to toe, I ain't scared to smoke, but the law moves smoother than the loudest joke. That's the part these clowns don't really know why they stream emotions. Paperwork, bro, I kept warning, kept giving grace, kept letting things slide just in case. Now, pressure different. Everybody brave till accountability knocked. The screenshots lined up and the channel stopped. Now the same folks whispering, let's all heal. After years trying to spin pain into reels. Amazing. Internet courage fade real fast when attorneys start organizing the past. Now every live stream move tense and mad, like maybe we should chill. Yeah, imagine that. Throw 'em a bone, now the whole pack's stirring. Whole chat room alive, all the timelines turning. Throw 'em a bone, now they swear they bold. Till them legal letters make the whole vibe cold. Shame, shame, shame. What a gang, gang, game. Everybody hungry for a quick little flame. Selling out they soul, just to mention a name. This platform ruthless, let's call it exact. People break down publicly, folks talking off that, then act confused when the energy crack, like humanity vanished behind clicks and stats. That's the sickness, and honestly, the saddest part ain't even the hate, it's the emptiness. The need to wake up every day, hoping somebody else fall apart publicly, so your own life feel louder for a minute. Couldn't be me, I build your hover. Big difference. This internet got folks spiritually starving. And every now and then I throw 'em a bone just to watch you come running. Every single time, same clowns. Fetch.
Yeah. You thought you was safe? Yeah. Yeah, you thought you was safe or good. Everybody looking for a home, looking for a click, looking for a place where the realness sticks. We out here building, trying to be free, but you just here to use them plain to see. I see you a user, a culture vulture, a leech, acting like you love the speech just so you can preach. You see the glow, you wanna get near it. You hear the soul, you try to engineer it. Wanna be in the circle, get the benefits, but you ain't put the work in. You just counterfeit. You a political operative, smiling in their face, just a snake in the grass, trying to take their place.
We out here searching for a tribe, trying to be free, trying to live our best life, but the snakes stay closed, wearing a disguise. Now you got mad, showed your true self, no surprise. You been popped, dumb bitches, read your rights. You been popped, dumb bitches, read your rights.
Yeah. It's the activist in me that's gotta speak the truth. I'm allergic to the fake, been like this is my youth. See them in the comments, singing all the praise. Go sis, go, while they plotting in the haze. Plotting on a downfall, plotting on a spot, thinking they can use a light to get what they ain't got. But you can't use a mirror, you can't use a queen. Your whole entire persona is a fucked up scene. You a resource sucker, energy drain. They bring the clouds, we just tryna bring the rain. But we see you, yeah, we see you. Your little mask is cracked and now you corner about to see how you act.
Looking for a track, tryna be free, tryna live our best life. But the snakes stay close, wearing a disguise. Now you got mad, showed your true self, no surprise. You've been popped down, bitch, read your rights. You've been popped down, bitch, read your rights. These people don't care about your life or your struggle. They just wanna break you down and make your hustle tumble. Now we see the true colors at the core of these people. Their whole foundation is evil. We at war and we question these people. Gold in his love for her people. And I've been trying to warn people. This is the ugly truth of the world.
Watching all the snakes uncurl. Here's the revelation, the part you should've known. A person's real character is when they anger shown. You got pressed, you got mad. And all that fake ass love you had turned to poison. Jealousy and spite, they hate cause you that bitch and shining too bright. You ain't no friend, you just a hater in disguise. Walk past, head high, don't look them in the eyes. So here's the diss, you lost, you're done. Your fake support is over, your little game is run. You pop yourself, bitch, we ain't have to do a thing. Just sat back and watch you pull your own damn string. You been popped, you can't infiltrate this. Your mask is on the floor, go pick up your shit. We out, we out. You kid, yeah.
Everybody got a panel.
Everybody got a problem.
Let's talk about it.
Why everybody beefing? Nobody believing. Everybody scheming. Everybody streaming. Started as a work, now the whole thing bleeding. Fake friends switch sides every season. New face, new team, new lie every evening. Everybody hungry for the clicks and the reasons.
Views up, drama get the views up.
Look, everybody suddenly a journalist now. Microphone tough with the filters and cloud. They don't even know what the culture about. Just smell a little smoke, then it rain in the house. Boxing sector looking WWE. Fake press conference turn reality TV. Started with a live stream, now they selling PPV. Best friends yesterday, now they scream RIP. Cat ding ding ding, another fake rivalry. Cameraman zoom while they build hostility. Comments get toxic, ego get slippery. Now the work turn real and destroy the chemistry. Used to throw punches in the ring for sport. Now they throw friends under buses for support. Everybody got receipts and folders and reports. Whole sector acting like spiritual court. Site TC spilling all over timelines. Screenshots, leak calls, everybody prime time. No context, just captions and headlines. So get traded for algorithm deadlines. And I ain't saying everybody fake, but let's be honest, peace don't pay. We worked it out, get ignored all day, but I exposed him, get 100K. Why everybody beefing? Nobody believing. Everybody scheming, everybody streaming. Started as a work, now the whole thing bleeding. Fake friends switch sides every season, switch sides. New face, new tea, new lie every evening. Everybody hungry for the clicks and the reasons.
Views up, drama get the views up.
See the algorithm hunters lurking in the dark, jumping in beef just to build up a spark. Never put work in, never had heart. Now they commentary kings from a Walmart cart. Everybody got an inside source now. Everybody got a truth exposed now. Soon as the views did blow, somehow they manufacture anger just to go fire, bro. It's a circus with ring lights. People losing real friends over click bites. Whole panel screen fights every midnight. Then they text backstage like, you good, right? Girl, bye. But the fans can't tell where the script ends. Creators crash out just to trend again. You can see the pain underneath the grin. Souls exhausted, but they live stream again.
How many friendships gotta die for content? How many people gotta bleed for engagement? How many ops y'all gonna create before y'all realize the audience addicted to the chaos too? And the algorithm know it.
Why everybody beefing? Nobody believing. each other.
Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? Excuse me. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Golden. I'm back with another live, y'all, this evening. And I want to come on and talk about a few things. I just wanted to be very open and very transparent about a few things. Because you can try and have conversations with people. You really can. And however it is they want that conversation to go is how it's gonna go, right? But we had a few things that we wanted to say. So I want to go ahead and say what's up to this new person, whoever they are, who's been waiting here since 10:23. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know that you've been waiting to see what I had to hear and say. But I'm here now. So thanks for coming. Seems like you was getting a little bit frustrated. Golden. Fine. Okay. Interesting. Ralph is live now. Get more numbers with you. More numbers than you imagine. Okay, cool. Have you eaten? All we see is skin and elbow. Built like a bone. Golden Goose. We're watching Official Campaign. Okay. If Official Campaign is live and he got a live going on tonight, I suggest, y'all go watch it. Because his lives is pretty interesting and stuff. I watch them too from time to time. So, ain't no problem with that. What's up, Star Girl? What's going on? How are you doing? Yeah, I wanted to come and talk about a few things on my live tonight, y'all. So, if y'all hadn't seen earlier, I tried to go over, have a conversation and address a few things over on Nick Mountain Goat channel. And I think she's still live. I can't be sure. But yeah, I was trying to have a conversation with her, like an adult conversation with her over there on her channel. But typically what they do is they bring up all these other random people and, they start talking real loud and heavily over you. And, you just can't get a word in edgewise. So it's just like, okay. And whatever they believe or their thoughts of whatever it is, that they made their mind up to believe, it's very hard for you to convince anybody otherwise, right? But that's life, right? Whatever people gonna believe is what they're gonna believe. However, despite what people believe, it doesn't always mean that what they believe is true, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense? So, okay, cool. So one of the reasons why I went over there is because, like day after day, literally day after day, I hear and I see these people, not just on Nick Mountain Goat platform. It's typically on Vampu's platform, honestly. Where they're just dragging and roasting and talking and, doing what they do, um, having a good time at other people's expense, and talking about all types of things, right? Like nasty work type stuff. Not just about me, but other people as well. And so I was like, yo, for real, was really getting on my nerves is that, like that whole scenery right there. So I said, all right, maybe we can have a conversation like adults. Maybe we can, see what the real gripe is, what the real issue is. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do these people keep continuously like dragging and bringing up the same things over and over again? And these are people that, like, if you let them tell it, or if you look or see, how they move and they operate, you think that you did something to these people. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't stole a puppy. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't broke into their house. You did something really horrible towards these people for them to come at you with the level of energy that they come at you with on a daily basis. Like, it's not a day that goes by that I don't hear these people talking about me, talking about my mama, being nasty work, dragging us, boo, 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 whatever. So I wanted to have a conversation and really get to the root of it. Excuse me, y'all. And figure out, like, yo, what's really your gripe? What is really your issue? Like, can we have an adult conversation about this? And so this evening I went over to, Nick Mountain Goat channel. And I was like, all right, I know she's of a certain age or whatnot. So I'm like, all right, maybe I can have a conversation with her over on her channel or whatnot to see, like, yo, what's really tea? Like, what's up? What's good? Like, what's all this energy? What's all of these gripes that y'all have? Why does consistently play out day after day after day? Now, when it comes to Vampy, we know Vampy got her issues, but we also know Vampy is young. Like, Vampy's like in her 20s, right? I've been in my 20s before, y'all. But with certain other individuals, I'm like, all right, well, these, seems to be more mature individuals of a certain age bracket that might can sit down and have a legitimate, mature conversation. So I'm like, yo, maybe we can, chop it up. Let's talk. Let's see what's going on. What's the tea? What's going on? But when I go over there, because like this is one of the things too that I want people to know. I ain't scared to go nowhere. So I don't care who is live. I understand people block. I understand people, they got all these moderators and stuff that do what they do, So when you do come through, it's like they don't see your comments, they block you from the chat. They don't want to hear from you or nothing like that. And to me, it's just like, yo, all right, cool. If that's how you move and that's how you operate, no problem. But I have no problem popping up, if I have any questions or if I want to talk to somebody face to face about a certain issue or a topic or a subject, I ain't got no problem with that. I'm gonna pop up in there. And I'm like, yo, what's good? Can we have a conversation? Maybe we can do it in an adult, like mature way or manner. But typically what I always experience when I try to do those type of things is that people don't want that, right? When you come in there, they start playing all of these, childish games, these schoolyard games and stuff like that. You want to talk to a specific individual, they're bringing up strangers and people you don't know, you've never talked about or had an issue with, but they apparently have an issue with you. And like literally, when I say I don't know these people, I don't mean to be rude because some people may think that like, oh, who do you think you are? I know who I am, but what I'm saying is, ma'am, I don't know you. Like I don't know who you are. You want to have a conversation with me, and you're taking over the entire platform. You're taking over the entire stage. Like your mouth is running so large and so loud. Like I can't come here and talk and have a conversation directly with the individual that I set out to have a conversation with. And whatever your issues and your gripes are with me, I can't really fully understand what they are because, ma'am, I never met you. I don't know you. I haven't had any issues with you. So I don't understand why you're the one speaking the loudest and the proudest when it comes to having a conversation. So anyway, so I was going to have a conversation that I thought could be respectful and mature with Nick Mountain Gold, right? So one of the main things that has happened, as of recent, because yes, I used to talk to McNaughton Gold and we used to be cool and things like that. And then everything fell out and it went left, it went sideways, whatever. But one of the things that happened recently is I seen a depiction of a video that I thought was very deplorable. I thought it was very disrespectful and very tasteless. And yes, I said racist. I said that because I really felt like the depiction of that imagery and my perception of it, that's literally what it was given for me, right? And so I stand 10 toes down on that. So when I come in, this is the conversation that I want to have, right? I want to talk about these things. And I have no problem with being honest about my perception of what I got from that AI video. That's how it made me feel. That's what energy I was picking up when I was watching it, right? So I wanted to have a conversation because previously, yeah, I made my commentary. I had conversation on my platform, and basically we popped it open. We talked about it. We talked about that video. We talked about the history, right? And when we talk about history, we're talking about Black history. We are talking about these depictions and these images that have been used historically to undermine and to insult and make Black people, in comparison to certain type of imageries, right? And there's other Easter eggs as well that was in the video that are also things that have been used historically, right? When it comes to mocking and poking fun at Black people, okay? And so, oh, hey, Star, what's up, girl? You want to come on up? You can come on up. Hold on 1 second. What's up, girl? So,
Hey, Golden.
how you doing?
It's
How you
that
doing?
Vamps. Girl, that Vamps.
All right, so that don't sound like Star. So who is that? Yeah, thank you. No thanks. I know what Star sounds like. That's not Star's voice. So come on. This is what I'm talking about as well. Like, are we on the playground? Stop playing games. I just don't like these play yard games. If you want to come up and you want to have a mature conversation with me or converse with me directly, it's very open. You can do it. It's okay for you to do that. You see that? Okay, here's Star. So yeah, okay, so Star, you saying Vamp is 29. God bless. God bless. That's a great age. And then Star says, that was Vamp. Okay, V Goddess. V Goddess. Come on now, world. Okay? We done had multiple conversations before. You have been on my platform before. You have grown your channel. I can't agree with how you move and you operate your channel, but who am I to say, right? I told you very early on, right? When I started talking to you and stuff, I said, I feel like you're very talented. I feel like you have a lot to bring to the platform and offer. You know what I mean? Like, I was rooting for you. I really was. And I gave you positivity very early on. And if you want to be honest, you can attest and you can tell, your people, your followers, whoever, your subscribers, your friends, be honest with them and tell them that that's the level of energy that I gave you. Now, again, I did go on to find out that previously, before I entered into the mix, right, you was already around. You was already in places and spaces doing things. A lot of these things I wasn't privy to, knowing that you were doing these things in certain places and spaces. Being, like conniving, like a chastise cat, like you was moving around and getting down like that. And then when I found that out and people were calling you out on it, I'm like, yo, why are you moving? Why are you operating like that? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what type of issues or gripes you have with other people. What are the fallouts you have with other people? Like I say, anything that happened before I enter into the mix, I don't know anything about. I don't. But I've heard the stories. I've seen things, right? As far as the things that you have done and that you also continue to do. And I think that is great. You said, okay, look, I think I want to give my hand at being a content creator. I think I want to build a channel. I think I want to make content and artwork and things of that nature. And you have a channel, you have a successful channel or an upward successful channel, right? Where you're doing the things, on that channel. I don't know. Are these the things that you intend to do? Because a lot of time when I have come over to check out your channel and take a look to see what you got going on over there, which is typically most of the reason why I know it's a lot of nasty work happening over there that is geared a lot of times towards individuals, my mother, and others. Vampy, this is what happens on your channel, and it happens on a daily basis. Right? But when you first had struck up your channel and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, she gonna try to, build her channel up. She's gonna pour into the channel, maybe do some artwork, whatever it is that her heart desires, she gonna do that. And when I first met her, I was like, yo, you should, because I thought she was very intellectual. I thought that she was very talented. And I think she's a pretty girl. I really do. And so I've always said those things to Vampy. I've always been that supporter to Vampy. I had questions for Vampy. Yes, I did. And I asked her because that's just how I am. I got a question or a curiosity about something. I'm just going to ask it. It wasn't me trying to be nasty work. It wasn't me trying to set you up. It wasn't me trying to embarrass you. I just legitimately had a question about, some of your energy and how you move and you operate. But ever since then, I think that you have a gripe towards me because you feel as though that was a setup. You felt as though I was being disrespectful towards you. Whatever it could be, I don't know, Vampy. I don't know. Because outside of any of those things, I can honestly tell you, I have not done anything to you. But since you had created your platform, I seen how you operate on that platform and how you make your content and you gear it, not just towards me and my mother, but other people that I rock with, other people that I support, anybody and everybody, Vampy. You open up your platform and your channel and you're good at the AI, you're good at graphics, you're good at music, right? You're very artistic. You have skills. Vampy. You do. But you use those skills to attack people, to embarrass people, to undermine people. Hold on, Star. Let me see what you're saying. Yeah, I know. Okay. And let me be very clear, okay? Now, when individuals are nasty work, they're hurting and they're harming people and attacking people on a regular basis, those individuals get to speak about their engagement with you. They get to speak about the type of treatment that you give them, okay? So I'm not coming over here, and if someone is saying in the comments the experiences that they have, guess what? They don't even always have to tell me. I've seen a lot of it for myself. I see what you say about other people. I see what you say about me. I see what you say about my mother. I see that you allow your platform, and open up your panel for people to come up there and be nasty work equally towards people. Like, that is the art that you decided you wanted to lean into and create, right? On your channel. And maybe it's beneficial for you. Lord knows you got more subscribers than I do, girl. You done been monetized a time or two. God bless you for that. God bless you for that, because we all need our coin. Okay. So I'm not saying I'm a hater. I think that's great for you, but considering the type of content that you do, right? And what you allow to happen on your channel, it's like, okay, look, I understand you got to put food on the table and in your mouth and pay your bills and do all the things you got to do, girl. We all got to do it. That's just called being an adult. That's just called life. We all got to do it. So I'm not knocking anybody for getting what they need to survive. You know what I'm saying? To pay their bills, to get some food, to do whatever it is they need to do. But when I look at the type of content that you hold over there on your platform, I'm just like, yo, you really think that this is the best that you can do? I told you very early on, before I even knew a lot about you, how you used to move and operate, the things that you did on this YouTube platform. Yeah, I knew you was a trans girl. I thought you was real pretty and beautiful. That don't matter nothing to me. It don't matter to me that you're a trans girl. And every time I talk about Vampy and anybody out there, please, if you can be honest and attest to this, do I ever misgender Vampy? I never misgender her. I always say girl. I always say her. I always say she. I don't misgender her. I don't be disrespectful towards Vampy. And I wouldn't be disrespectful towards anybody else up under the umbrella in the LGBTQIA plus community that may identify as a trans woman. I don't do that. I've never done it. My mama doesn't do it. And so when I turn around and I start seeing like she's holding her platform open and they're doing this content, these lives, where they're just being nasty work towards me and my mom, like, yo, what is that level of like, why are you doing us like that? We never treated you bad. We never did nothing to you off jump to make you feel like we dislike you or we disrespecting you or anything like that. Now I understand when you get in, you know what I mean? The in crowd and stuff like that, and the money comes pouring in and the opportunities come pouring in, and you're around a certain select group. Sometimes you got to put on for the group. But the honesty is just all I'm asking for when it comes to these people. Like, I can understand that one of the gripes, and I think I've heard this very clearly now, that you have towards me is that you were on my platform, my channel one time, and I was there with Nafisa, I remember, and we asked you a question. I asked you a question. She was there. We both were equally asking you questions. And I don't know if you felt like you was put on the spot. You felt like you was embarrassed. You felt like we were setting you up, or you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. That's not what it was. I had a legitimate question because I was curious, right? Because I don't know you. I don't know the background. I didn't know the background. And I'm trying to find out, like, yo, what's tea? What's going on? And there's nothing wrong, like, when I can't be sure, right? Because that's not my story. So I'm not gonna reiterate it and repeat it because that might be something that bothers you, right? And I don't want to say that because I don't go out of my way to hurt people's feelings or embarrass them or make them feel no type of way. But at that time, maybe I didn't think about that, right? Maybe I didn't think about that first before I asked you that question on panel with, you know, multiple people in the chat and Nafisa on the panel with me, and maybe people listening from the bushes. Maybe you felt like I put you on the spot. It was said, I don't set people up. I just ask whatever is on my mind, whatever comes to my mind. I just ask it. That's it. It ain't no, you know, low down 30 calls as to why that happens. So I feel like that's one of the gripes or whatnot you have with me that first time or whatnot when you came over to my channel and I did ask you a question. And we know what that question was, what it was derived around. We'll get into that a little bit later. And I will apologize for that because if you felt as though I put you on a spot, I embarrassed you, that made you feel like, you know what I'm saying, like uncomfortable, I apologize because that wasn't my intent. It wasn't a setup. I wasn't doing that on purpose. It was a legitimate question that I had to ask. Could I have asked you that question privately? You know, maybe off to the side, not on the live. Yeah. I probably could have done that. Had I gotten to know you, you know, better and, you know, maybe been able to talk to you in another space outside of being on my live on my platform. But I typically don't communicate and connect with people outside of my platform on YouTube. It's not very many people that I exchange emails with, phone numbers with, you know, things of that nature. Other social media platforms, Instagrams, you know, TikToks, whatever. And places where, or Discords or whatever, places where maybe we could have had that conversation privately. right? Just between me and you, and maybe not on a platform where multiple people were listening and, there at the time. So, Vampy, if that is something that has happened way, way, way back in the past, and we talking about like a year and a half now ago that happened, right? If that is something that I unknowingly did that hurt you or offended you, I will say that I'm sorry. It was not my intention to do that, because I understand how those type of things can play out and how they can be, right? It wasn't my intention to embarrass you. You know what I'm saying? I thought we could just kiki, laugh it up. You know what I'm saying? Because the way I see you when you be in chats and when you be around, you seem like you got a thick skin. You be joking, you be kikiing and laughing and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna just ask her a question. We're gonna chop it up. Boop, boop, boop. You know what I mean? That was the energy that I was giving, and I was asking a question that I really was like wanting to know. But it was not my intent to embarrass you. So if you felt embarrassed from that, I do apologize. That wasn't what I set out to do to you. Okay. It was no setup or anything like that. Now, after all of that went down, right? It was like on again, off again, in again, out again, right? I'm on certain platforms and whatnot, or supporting certain people. You probably got more information and history about these platforms and these people than I do, because I was the new kid on the block. Okay. I hadn't been around. I was just coming in and getting to know the platform and the people and all of the things, right? And so, after all of that started happening and whatnot, I thought everything was cool in the game. But then I seen that like some people was having issues with you because they were saying that you would be trolling, and in the past you did these certain things where it was just like, disrespectful and distasteful and, disruptive to certain people's platforms. And I didn't know that you were doing all of these things. I didn't know that's something that you did. So when I was the new kid on the block and I came in and I'm just listening, I'm listening to what people saying. I'm listening to what people, gripes that they have at you and stuff. And they said that these are the things that you do, that you be trolling and, you be trying to stir pots and, do these type of things. So I'm like, yo, I don't, what's she doing there? I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, where it's like, I'm going out my way to expose that. I didn't go out my way to expose any of those things. I'm just listening to find out more and learn more about the company that I'm keeping and everybody that's within that company. And this is what people were saying that you had been doing for a period of time, to cause corruption and chaos and confusion and, all of these things. So that's what I got from that, right? And that was like I said, like a year and a half ago now, right? When I first was introduced to you. Then after that, when you first started up, your channel, I remember you was going lives, you was doing them late at night and stuff like that. And I came over to your lives and I was in your channel and I was in your chat and I was giving you love and I was showing you love and I was giving you encouragement. And I told you, like, I think that you're talented. I think that you have a lot that you can offer. I think you have a lot of, capabilities and skills that you can bring to the platform that would be great. And I thought you was a pretty girl. And to be quite honest, let's just be clear about this. When I first seen you, Vampy, and I'm just gonna be honest, okay? I don't have no problem with that. When I first seen you, I had no idea that you was a trans girl. I didn't know that. Because I thought you're a pretty girl. Like I didn't know. I couldn't tell. And then, whatever, like it started coming out or whatnot, she's a trans girl, all these things. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know that. So that's a compliment to you. I'm telling you, and I've told you before, I thought you was a very pretty girl. I thought you had talent. I thought you were very capable. I thought you could bring all of those things to your platform and do some really great things. And then your platform, as it grew and you start connecting and working with people and stuff, it started becoming nasty work. Like, apparently you've always been doing the trolling stuff, right? And then I learned about that and found out about that. And then when you got your own channel, it was just like, yo, this is my own turf. I can go as far with it as I want to go. And the trolling And the nasty work, it elevated once you started your channel. It did. And that's what I witnessed, like, when I would come over there and stuff. And when I first came over there, you would stop dead in your tracks and stuff, as far as like whatever it is you was doing. And you would talk to me and you would speak to me and I would speak to you, and we would have positive engagements. And I remember you paid me compliments, I paid you compliments, right? We didn't have no issue, Vampy. We didn't. We really, really didn't. I did not have no issue with you. And from what I can recall, you didn't have no issue with me. And I know your channel started growing and you wanted to grow even more. And I know how that can be, right? Because I know on this platform, there are some people that can try and say that they're going to help you grow your channel, grow your platform, right? But there's certain things that you got to do. There's a certain type of way you got to be, right? In order to get that. I can't be sure. I can't speak for you. I don't know if that's how it went down. But I'm just saying, I've witnessed these things before. I have. And I don't know if that's what caused the shift or the change to happen when it comes to you, be goddess. But the energy definitely shifted on your channel, and it shifted with you. And I was just like, okay, I'm not really liking this. And yes, I can attest to the fact that simultaneously, I was supporting other content creators and channels, right? That you were trolling, that you were attacking, that you were being nasty work towards, right? YouTube channels, Discords, all of the things, right? You were doing these type of things to, these channels and these platforms, yes, that at that time I was supporting. Yeah. So I do hear a lot of people saying, oh, but Golden, you were the biggest windmiller of ever, of all time, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I have no need to lie. Yeah. Because, I did not fully understand how things move and operate on YouTube. Like I said, I'm a new kid on the block. I'm just coming in. And especially within this sector. This is not a sector that I was used to be in, as far as being a content creator, being in chats, things like that. When I first started getting on YouTube, I wasn't in chats. I would just watch content creators' content and like play along, work along. And one of the ones that I liked the most, and this was like in 2020 during the pandemic, was the ones where they're doing makeup and they're doing hair, like wigs, lace front wigs, and makeup, right? So I watched a lot of those channels, and it helped me learn different skills and tactics and things like that on how to apply lace front wigs, how to do your eyebrows, how to put on lashes, how to do your makeup. I was watching those type of channels. Then also, because I'm kind of greedy sometimes, I like food. I like cooking. So I was watching some of the content creators that do the cooking videos, right? So I can learn recipes and different techniques and stuff on how to eat. So when I first started on YouTube, those are the channels that I was watching. Then somehow along the way, child, I started finding some of the channels that doing the celebrity gossip. So yeah, it would be content creators that be up there and they'd have shows and podcasts and presentations where they were exposing or talking about or laughing along, at certain things that was going on in certain celebrities' relationships, and, with their record deals and, salacious things about celebrities in Hollywood, Hollywood, music industry, actors, actresses, rappers, singers, music industry, all of that, right? Celebrity gossip. So at some point, I found my way to certain channels and content creators that was doing that. And apparently that became attached to, I guess now what they're calling it, the Black tea sector, right? But some of these channels and these platforms that I was first getting, connected to or going to and watching regularly and frequently, it started off being about celebrity gossip, celebrities. And then it shifted and it changed. And then it was now the content creators are the gossip. So now they're gossiping about each other and talking about each other. So one of them be, talking about something, say, and so did this or said that, and boop, 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 this person no good, choo, 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 whatever the things, and bring up a name. And so I'm like, well, who is that? I don't know who that is that they beefing with. And they'll say the name, and then I would go look up that channel and that name and see who this person is. The person that I'm watching, that I at that time preferably like, subscribe to and watch all the time. Now they're beefing with someone and they throw a name out there. So I go and I'm like, all right, let me search this channel and see who is this person they beefing with? What's going on? What's the tea? Like I didn't know these people wasn't getting along. It started with celebrity stuff. And then it started being content creator against content creator. So that's how it all started, right? And so, then you navigate and you find your way down the rabbit's hole, going from this channel to that channel, and this person don't get along with that person, and that person don't get along with this person, and you're looking up this channel and you're looking up this person, all of those things. That's how it started. That's how it started. And I got on, this journey, right? Meanwhile, during the pandemic, I also watched channels where they were like, because a lot of people were at home, they were furloughed from work. And there were channels that was telling you, you can be a content creator. You can make content on YouTube and you can get paid. And, you can make, a little side cash or whatnot by doing content on YouTube. So I also watched some of those channels that had tutorials, and teach you how you can build the channel, how you can find a niche or something that you're good at, and you can make content, within that niche and post it up on YouTube, and maybe you can get paid. Now, I thought at the time, the way they were selling it, it was like really easy, right? It's not really easy. But at the time, I'm like, okay, boop, boop, boop. You just do this, boop, boop, boop. You do that. Okay. Now maybe you can make a coin. You got to put in a lot of work. And so, I had learned that and went on that journey, right? So one of the things that I like to do after I was watching and, perfecting my craft as far as makeup, because prior to me watching these content creators on YouTube do makeup, I did makeup already. I did my own makeup. But you learn different techniques and you learn different trends and things like that. And you practice them, you apply them, you learn different products you can get, different lashes, different lace front wigs, all of those things, right? So yeah, so I started, thinking that, okay, maybe I can do it too. So I'm like, all right, I got my phone, I didn't have no camera or nothing, no real professional equipment. So I got my phone. I'm like, okay, I gotta apply my wig today anyway. So I'm like, well, let me just hit record and show the people and talk on my phone and go step by step on how I'm putting on my lace front wig and step by step by how I'm doing my makeup, and stuff like that. And record those videos and upload them to YouTube and see what happens. Now you have to have production, okay? When I first started doing the channel, I literally just recorded the video raw and uploaded to YouTube. It was just raw, okay? It was no production or nothing. I didn't edit it or nothing at first. I didn't know how to do none of that. So as I kept watching other content creators that were teaching you more and more how to, like perfect and, make your content and stuff look more professional, I'm like, okay, so I'm downloading apps and, on my phone and on my laptop and stuff like that. So I could utilize them and see like, okay, I record a video of me doing this, then I upload it to the laptop and then I edit it and they teach you how to edit and all these things. So I was doing all of that during the pandemic, y'all. Anyway, long story short, y'all know I like a good story time. So this is how I was introduced into YouTube and content creation, right? So that was one of the first things. It was the lace front wigs, the hair and the makeup and the lashes and all the things like that. And then another thing that I also have a passion to do is cook. I love to cook. I love food. I love flavors and stuff like that. So after, if I wasn't doing hair or makeup that day, and yes, I was in a relationship. So, you always, you're cooking dinner, your man coming home, you're going to cook dinner anyway. I'm like, okay, I'm making a nice dinner or whatever. I'm gonna prop up my phone. I got me a little stand or whatnot to put my phone on. And I'm doing the cooking videos, right? So I'm cooking in the kitchen and in the kitchen, wrist twist up like it's stir fry, all of that type of stuff. Cooking with my boyfriend. He coming home from work. But I like to, make meals that's, like pretty, right? So like I would watch videos and stuff and learn how to like plate food and make it look fancy and nice and all the things. And y'all know I like my season, so it tastes good. I can guarantee y'all it tastes good. But I wanted to learn how to plate as well. And then I had been to culinary school. I went to culinary school. So, all of that kind of tied in. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I can do some of this, make some content, get some cash. Never did. Never, 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 ever, 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 ever was monetized or made any lick of cash from doing content on YouTube. It's still to this day, y'all. I'm still struggling and trying. But anyway, you don't give up. You stay persevere. But anyway, so that's how I got introduced into YouTube. But anyway, Vampy, going back to Vampy. So yes. Yeah. So because I had done all of those things, right? And when I used to see her, I was seeing she was doing some of that stuff too. Like she'd be putting her hair on and her makeup on and doing stuff like that. And she's a pretty girl. And like I said, at the time, I didn't know. I thought she just a girl. You know what I mean? Like a woman, whatever. I didn't know. And even once I found out, I didn't care. There's no problem with that for me. I wasn't discriminatory against her because of that. But I'm just like, okay, she's doing her hair and she's doing makeup. And oh, okay, this is a good niche for her. But it was always said that she was like this troll and this problematic person. And again, history, I don't know about. What people have done before I came along, I don't know about those things. But I seen she got a skill. I see she has some talents. It seemed like, you know what I'm saying? She enjoyed what she was doing. So I'm like, okay, when she built her channel, she's going to build her channel doing that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like laying down the lace front wigs and the hair and doing the makeup and, outfits and stuff like that. And talking. Because when I heard the girl talk multiple times, I was like, oh, she's really smart. I was like, she's intelligent. Because, yeah, if you listen to the artist talk sometimes, she really does come off as very much smart and intelligent. She knows a lot about a lot of different things, And so I always gave her props for that. And I always thought that was the direction she was going to go in. That's what her channel was going to be. That's the type of content she was going to make. That's what I thought, And then it turned nasty. It turned nasty and it turned cruel. And like I said, when she came over to my channel that one time, I guess maybe she hold that resentment in her heart because I asked a question that might have embarrassed her or put her on the spot. And I didn't know that at the time. She didn't, you know what I'm saying? She didn't verbalize that towards me. It was like, she was just laughing and, she answered the questions and we just went along with the conversation. She didn't tell me that it bothered her or it embarrassed her or it made her feel any type of way. She didn't tell me that. If that's a resentment that she held, I didn't know that, right? So anyway, fast forward to now. B Goddess has been very, vocal and very upset towards me. My mom, she lets other people come to her panel and her channel and hold that same level, excuse me, y'all, of energy as well. And so it's just like, it kind of just switched up out of nowhere. And I was just like, why do you hate me? And then I started hearing like conversations where, it gives that some people will like have a disdain for you or be upset with you because you're supporting or you're still going around channels and platforms of a person that they have a disdain towards or that they dislike or that has done something, to them, maybe, I can't be sure, to make them feel a certain type of way, uncomfortable, all of those things. And if they see that you're supporting that person or you're still over there at their channel and in their proximity and stuff like that, I found that they start to get upset with you and dislike you because of that. Excuse me, that as well. And so I can't be 100% sure what exactly it is, where it derived from, where it come from, and why. But I can attest to y'all and tell y'all, and if this person is willing to be honest, oh, not this person, but if the goddess is willing to be honest as well, and tell y'all that, like, when it started out, I was showing love. I was being support. And this is before I knew half of the things, you know what I'm saying, like the history and all of that stuff. And then once I found out about the history, I was just like, okay, well, you went your separate way. That person is where they're at. It seemed like, you know what I'm saying, like y'all done parted ways. So, I feel like, okay, I can support you and I can support this person. Y'all are not having issues with each other anymore because y'all parted ways. And I feel like we can support people individually, right? Like that's what I thought. That's what I thought on this platform, and that's what I thought, like, how we can move and operate. So every now and then, when she go live and stuff, I pop in, show her some love, be in the chat, say a few things. The other person that I supported at the time as well, same thing, right? And whatever whatever it was or whatever it could have been, with the issues and stuff going on between, those platforms or the two or whatever, that was separate from me. I wasn't part of that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there for that. I didn't know a lot about it. And I do feel like, there is a level of separation that we can be able to hold and keep, right? And I do believe, like, moving forward, that's something that we should look into as well, because, like, if two individuals get into a fight or a beef or a gripe and they fall out, I just heavily believe that, like, that issue and that fallout should just be between those two individuals. I feel as though the healthy thing to do is just for other people, right? Like supporters, subscribers, and I know because they love the people that they support that they take it upon themselves to get involved. And because I know I've been that person before, where I will windmill for the people that, I support, I like, I love, or whatever like that, you know what I'm saying, that I rock with. And so if they get into it with someone, it's like, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm down to ride. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what's up? What they say, what they do, boop, boop, boop. I kind of got that energy, and that derives from, like, my real energy in real life. That's how I am in real life, like with real friends and real issues and stuff like that. Like, yo, if my friend, you know what I'm saying, is going through something, ride it out, whatever, like, I'm down to ride. And I had to grow up and mature and realize that, I don't think that's always the best way, you know what I'm saying, to, like, really move and navigate, especially once you become an adult. You got to just let two adults deal with their own stuff, and just kind of, like, stay about of it, because it's not your fight. It's not your issue. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going on, really. Most of the time, you don't know all of the ins and outs of the fallout and the beef or the issue. And, when you just start thrusting yourself in the middle of it, you know what I mean? And because you want to, take your friend's side and windmill for them, and, you know what I'm saying, like, fight in their honor. In some cases, people will see that as noble, but I think if we really think about it, it's like, once we become adults, we got to realize, like, yo, just let adults deal with their own stuff. Two adults that's going through a beef or a fallout or something like that, that's between them two. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't got nothing to do with the rest of us. I had to learn that myself, right? That was a navigation of life and learning that I had to go through, right? Because that's typically the energy that I keep. I windmill for my people. But now where I'm at with it is like, yo, if two people is going through something and they have a fallout or a disconnect, one of the things that I may try to do is, like, be the voice of reason and be like, come on, y'all, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can squash this. it shouldn't be that serious. Life is too short. We got bigger things to worry about. Come on, y'all. Hug it out, kiss it out, you know what I'm saying? And let's move forward so we can go play, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. So we can go to the movie theater, so we can go bowling or something like that. Like, let's just all get back to the regular schedule program and let's just all get along. So that's annoying for some people too. Like when you try to be like the maker of peace, the middle person. And I found myself doing that after a while on certain platforms. After I went through my windmilling stage, I tried to be like the voice of reason stage. Like, all right, come on, y'all. Let's can we squash it? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we move past this? Like boom, boom, boom. Stuff like that. I got cussed out and dragged for even doing that. So I said, Lord, child, I don't know what to do anymore except just stay about the way. Like when two people is fighting or they got, an issue or whatnot, it's not my business. I don't know about it. That's between them. And so now where I'm at is I just stay out of it altogether. Like, I don't try to windmill from one side or the other. I don't try to be the bringer of peace and connectivity. Those people that are in that issue or whatever it is that fall out at the time, they got to navigate through that themselves. You know what I mean? And I feel like we just got to kind of, well, not we, but what I have personally decided in my life is like, I'm just going to stay about the way. I'm going to just let these people deal with, whatever it is they got going on. And, and we'll see what comes from it. And when it comes to being, like on YouTube and stuff, like if you are a supporter, and let's just say that like, you're a supporter or you kick it or whatnot, we're both individual, like both of them cool, both of them your friends or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then they fall out. It's a lot of people that be feeling like they in the middle, you know what I mean? Because they're like, dang, I like her and I like him too. And now they both fighting and it's like, yo, I'm caught in the middle. Like, what am I supposed to do? And it's like, you throw your hands up and you're just like, yo, I'm going to let y'all figure it out. That's the mature thing to do. However, there's this thing now, that has started to happen where it's just like, one, maybe, we can't be sure, one of the sides, and it's not everybody that gets into these type of altercations, it's just maybe certain individual, like one will make and force people to like pick a side. Like, oh, well, I'm not getting along with so-and-so, and they did this, and they said that, and they did this to me. And if I catch you, rocking with them and over there on their channel and stuff like that, then it's up and it's stuck between us too. And so, they make people feel like, like they in the middle, but then it's like, they shun you sometimes or almost make you or force you to pick a side. Like either you with him or you with me. Which one is it? Pick, And that's not a new thing. That happened in the streets and, what I'm saying, that happened in like real life and stuff like that too. And it's never a comfortable situation or position to be placed in. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people like, yo, I don't want to pick a side. I like y'all both. And whatever y'all two got going on, it ain't got nothing to do with me. Like y'all figure that out. Hurry up, and squash it so we all can get back to the kumbaya, And so, I feel like that's the thing too that be happening on the platform, So anyway, so yeah, that's my story and a little bit of breakdown of like some of the things, that I've been seeing transpire on YouTube. But that's my breakdown when it comes to like be goddess, vampy, I've never really had no problem with her at all. Neither has my mother. Like, and y'all know my mama's a sweetie pie. She show everybody love. She really do. And it's like we never had no problem with her, but with sometimes maybe it's these things that I just mentioned, right? Like if it shows that, oh, this is my arch enemy and you're over there sitting with my arch enemy and you're cool and supporting my arch enemy, then now you're my enemy too. Like it kind of gives sometimes that energy. And I just sometimes that's literally the only thing that I can put in place to really figure out why it's these disdains and fallouts and disagreements and not getting along with people. Like that's the only thing that I can put in place is that, I specifically don't have an issue with that person at first, right? At first, there's no issue I have with that person. But because I may support somebody that, is their op or they don't get along with or is their arch, enemy, then now I've become an op. I've become their arch enemy. I've become a target and a problem in their life. And we personally, me and that person have no issue. They have an issue with that person over there that I just so happen to still support or get along with or rock with. Does that make sense to y'all? Am I making any sense when it comes to? Because I know a lot of people are feeling this way as well and seeing it and bearing witness to this. And so, that's a difficult place to be in because, once that starts happening and you become somebody's arch enemy, right? All because, they don't get along with this person that you are still cool with or that you get along with, and you become their arch enemy as well. Not only are they attacking that person, then they start unwarrantedly attacking you, right? And then you wake up or you roll over and you like, yo, what is this energy? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you coming at me like this? Why are you talking about me like this? Why, you know what I'm saying, you dragging me like this? What is this? Why are you acting like that? And then you find out, that they now have considered you their op and their enemy because you have or support and spend time with their arch nemesis and op. So now you are guilty by association and you're catching strays and unwarranted attacks and hate because of that. And at the core of it, you've never done anything to this person, and this person has never done anything to you. Y'all, everything was fine between y'all. But because of who you decide to support and rock with, if it's an enemy of theirs, then now you're also an enemy as well. Does that make sense to y'all? Did I break that down pretty decently? This is just the things that I've been picking up on and trying to make sense of. Now let me go ahead and check the chat real quick, y'all. I seen a few of y'all come in. I'm not ignoring y'all. So, okay, Star. Hey, Star, what's going on? Star says it's insane. I thought that Star was coming up. Child, they trying to troll. Okay, Star, they say VMP is about 29. Archangel Michael says, General, you did not try. You did. And I respect that tremendously. By yourself as well. Issue aside, Golden, our friendship only dies if you let it. I will leave you be now, General Golden. Stay safe. Archangel, that's the thing too, like as of recent, because I see certain things and certain comments and chats and stuff, and it really sometimes takes me back and floor me because with some of the people, it's just like, we didn't fall out. We don't have a beef. Like, nothing was wrong. I know that very publicly on the platform, due to Nick, she was the one that brought me and Archangel together and had a conversation about and Archangel at first had seen it one way. And then after, explanation and full breakdown of certain things, Archangel was able to see it a different way, and he gave love and he gave respect. And after that, everything was cool between us. You know what I'm saying? So when I come and I'm seeing like someone in the chat and it's talking crazy about me and dragging me and stuff like that, I'm just like, wait a second now. Like, what happened? We was just cool. Everything was fine. I'm confused. Okay, Star, I got you. Yeah, the trolling and stuff. Yeah, I know. And that's terrible too, right? Because this has happened to me, multiple times where it's like I'll literally be in somebody's chat and I'll go in the chat as myself and see myself in the chat. And I'm like, what are these duplicate troll accounts? Like, I don't get it. Like, why Why are people doing this? Hey, V Love, what's going on? What is up? What is up? House of Queens. Hey, House of Queens. Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate that. Shade Tree Melodies says, what's good, homies? What's up? How you doing? Thank you for coming in. I appreciate that. And I hope some of the things, y'all, that I'm saying, I hope it's just making sense, because I didn't, like, I didn't come on here to be nasty or drag. I'm just trying to make sense of stuff. I try to make sense, because I'll be confused sometimes. Archangel says, Golden, I'm subscribing to your channel, and I'm going to run some old stuff. Your songs, my animation. I think I need you. I think you need a smile. But so does Nick. Hard being the Archangel Michael. All you need, so I will try. Yeah. And when I went over there to talk to Nick today, I legitimately just wanted to talk to Nick. That was it. And I was just trying to gain clarity and see, like, yo, what is really going on? Like, does it have to be like this? Like, do we have to continue to be divided? Do we have to continue to keep fighting with one another? Where does all of this derive from? And I will say sometimes, yes, certain things have to be, addressed and called out. And it's not me. I'm not nobody special or in particular, right? If anyone else feels like something is made, or artwork is made, or a song is made, or something is said or done that makes them feel uncomfortable, or they feel as though it may be, derogatory or anything like that, anybody has the ability to speak up on that, and bring that to awareness and ask questions and have a gripe or issue with it. So no, it's not just a golden thing. You and girls were better as friends. I remember the old days. Good times long ago, if I recall. Yourself, Golden Goddess, and Vampy, do you remember? Giggling girls. For sure. Yeah, so V Love you saying, yeah, like when stuff, or there's an issue between two individuals, it's between them, you know what I'm saying? Like they gotta work that out between each other. I think it probably is the healthiest and best thing to do, is just to kind of, like, just stay out of it, and I'm not good at that. I'm getting better at that. I'm getting real good at that. But at first I was not, and I'm a windmill type of person. I rock with my peoples and my friends and stuff like that. If somebody coming from my friend, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, we ride at dawn. I used to have that type of energy. But I realized when it comes to sometimes like these beefs and these fallout on YouTube and stuff, it's a little different. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same all the time. It's like when you have like a legitimate beef or fallout or something like that in the community, you know what I'm saying, the streets, you know what I mean, things like that. So yeah, V Love, I agree. Just don't get involved. And I've learned that. I've had to go through the process to learn these things. Sometimes we learn by, you know what I'm saying, like experience. Like, I had to go through some things and burn a few times, make poor decisions a few times, crack my face a few times, and learn from that. Like, learn from the mistakes that I had made, and then pick myself back up and, move forward differently. You know what I mean? Accordingly. Archangel say, I'll go now. Got some errands to run, but hey, Golden, I know you're smiling, General. Okay, Archangel, well, be safe with your errands and stuff you got to run and whatnot. And, thanks for coming in and just hearing me out and listening to what I had to say this evening. I appreciate it. B Love says, yes, voice of reasoning. Awesome. If warranted. And then that's when a person character comes into play. Either you trust me, either side, or, right. But never say this nor that on both. Right. And you kind of have to learn that curve. You know what I mean? You have to learn how to, like, respectfully and comfortably, like, just be neutral, like in the middle, especially when it's two people that you support or you like or you rock with. If they fall out, you kind of got to learn that curve, like how to just, respectfully stay in the middle. However, despite your choices and decisions, like I said, there are sometimes individuals that is, they'll make that difficult for you because they'll almost put your back against the wall and tell you that like you have to pick a side. Or if I see you over there on that channel, that's it. We're done. Don't come back over here. I'm done with you. Or, oh, you agree what he said when it came to that? Oh, no, no, no. We're not friends anymore. I don't agree with that. And we're done. So, all of that type of stuff. So you can even decide to be neutral if you want to be. But sometimes, you feel as though your back gets pushed against the wall and people will make you choose and pick a side. Not get caught up in someone else's beef. We really don't know each other. Yeah. Yeah. We really don't know each other. And on this platform or whatnot, it's virtual and I think it's wonderful and it's excellent that we do get to virtually meet, so many great people from all over the globe. I say this all the time, y'all. I be feeling like I sound like a broken record. And that's why it's like I really get confused when I'm like, people don't understand like who I am and what I say and what I stand for. Because I say these things over and over and over again. I'm really a broken record. That's the beauty of social media, websites and stuff, and technology, is that it can bring us closer together, even though we may not get to physically travel, and meet one another face to face, but we can connect with each other, online and virtually. Come on now, y'all. We got online dating. Like people are finding love virtually in online, relationship virtually and online. If they can do that and that's a thing, then it's like, friendship or, platonic friendship, or support or whatever, on certain social media platforms and spaces. Is that too far fetched to think that it's possible? No. I mean, people are finding love online, virtually and stuff. So I think we can make friends or acquaintances at the least, acquaintances virtually on these platforms, like, and I know a lot of time, like, if you frequently go into somebody's chat or something like that, and you start making like a connection with other individuals may be in the chat on that channel as well. Like you actually start to care, and learn a little bit because you're sharing sometimes a little bit about your life, your day, what you got going on, and you start to care. Like I know a lot of times, like sometimes when I go into a chat or whatnot, somebody that I frequently see all the time, and we done made somewhat of a rapport, and they may say like, "Oh, I was, last week I was just in the hospital. I just had this operation and whatever, and I'm recuperating and recovering." When I go back into the chat and I see that person again, I'm gonna remember that. So I'm gonna be like, "Hey, so and so, how you feeling? I know you said you was recovering from the surgery and stuff. How are you feeling?" And check up, like legitimately care. Like I'm really like that. I really legitimately care, whether it's virtual or face to face or not. I like to make acquaintances and friends virtually, and I care and I remember certain things. I remember certain people's birthdays. I'm not the best at birthdays, but I remember certain people's birthdays and stuff like that. I remember, somebody might say, the son just turned this age or something like that. Whatever, small little things like that, to get to know people and have like a relationship or a connection with people, even virtually, is possible. And so, that's how I kind of started off. I remember being shunned a few times for being too positive, for trying to make peace, for trying to see, if a resolution or a resolve was possible. I used to try to be that type of person that would say those things. I used to get like basically attacked because people sometimes I realized just want to fight. They want to fight. They want the fallout. They want the chaos. They don't want peace. They don't want reconcile. They don't want to hear about none of that. And sometimes when you bring it up, they'll tell you to shut up. I've been told to shut up before because I was trying to ask people. I was like, well, what's going on? Maybe it's just a misunderstanding. Can there be any reconcile? Can we work it out? Can we get back to peace? And I used to be that girl for real and try to actually ask and want those things and hope that those things were possible. And I got shunned and attacked for it. I did previously. And then it was just like, okay, I'm going to just keep my mouth up out of it. I guess if people decide to be upset or disconnected, then, that's just where they desire to be at that time. I didn't try to force nobody to get, I was just curious. Like, can there be a resolve? Like, maybe it's a misunderstanding. Like, can we talk this thing through, and come out on the other side? I used to do things and stuff like that. So anyway, moving on from that, overall, a little bit of the background, as far as me being here on the platform. And then we did talk about Vampy and V Goddess. Like I said, I didn't have no issues with her. I did not, but I think it was that one thing. And then I think it was, rocking and rolling with certain people that maybe she also, did not get along with or had a gripe or a fallout with, and couldn't understand, like, how could you possibly be supporting this person and still around this person? This person did this to me, this person did that to me, whatever. And I'm not saying she's the only one that's like this. A lot of people that's like that. They'll feel a certain type of way because if they're going through it with that person, they don't understand why you still want to be, connected to that person. They want you to pick a side. And so I do think there's a lot of that going on as well. And then, like I said, if you, are cool with that person that they're not getting along with, they consider that person their op, and then they'll consider you their op as well. So there's that. All right. So, the video. Let's talk about the video, the AI video. So there's a lot of artistic expression here on YouTube. A lot of people are very talented as far as making, now, utilize the tools of AI to make videos, images, music, all of these different type of things. A lot of people are very skilled and talented when it comes to that, right? And so, excuse me, it's not the skills and the talents or anything that I try, I'm not taking anything away from anybody. I will give people credit and props all day, every day, right? For, things that they're able to create and the skill set that goes behind that. But, if something is depicted in a way when it comes to artwork, and I view it and I see it, and based off of what and how that makes me feel, you know what I'm saying, and the imagery and how it makes me feel and what comes to my mind, with those type of imageries and stuff, I may feel a certain type of way. I may feel like, it's painting a narrative or a story that in my personal, and it's not everybody, I'm just saying me personally, in my personal perspective of how I, download or look at and perceive that artwork or that craft or creation, it may come off offensive, it may come off uncomfortable, distasteful, like all those things. That's all I was saying. Like, that was my perception of the artwork, right? When I seen it. And I didn't like the visuals of it. I didn't like the visuals of it. And y'all know on my channel, well, I don't know if all y'all know, on my channel, with the content that I make, I mostly do, like, I do history, I do Black history, I do politics, I do things like that where, I've done a lot of education and research when it comes to, how things, symbols, of a struggle or a certain time frame, historically, what certain things represent, certain words, things of that nature, right? So it's like I read, I watch a lot of timepieces, I I do. You know what I'm saying? I do those things. So sometimes if I see a certain type of imagery, right, that's being depicted, um, just for me personally, I can't say it's for everybody. For me personally, there's sometimes what that imagery makes me feel, or what, you know what I'm saying, like that represents to me, is what it is for me, you know. And I'm not saying, and that's what I was trying to say earlier, in a respectful and adult mature like way, like I understand that everybody doesn't perceive things in the same way, and that's very much okay. I'm not saying anybody's wrong if they perceive it and they say, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's fun, I think it's cool, I think it's uplifting, I think it's artistic. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I don't have a problem if anybody says that. I don't. I think the issue is that those people that don't have a problem with it, they have a problem with the individuals that perceive it and see it differently. But they see it like, you know, it reminds them, or it, you know, represents to them, like, you know what I'm saying, something negative, to where it's distasteful and they didn't like it. They didn't like, you know, that expression of art. Now, it's not to say to the creator of the art that they have to do what I say. No, artists have artistic expression, freedom of artistic expression, right? So I'm not telling anyone that, oh, you need to change this, you need to do it different. I can't say that to nobody. I can't tell nobody how to change their artwork or how to change anything that they've created or they made. All I can say is, with your artwork and what you created, when I look at it, when I listen to it, when I watch it, the way I perceive it, for me, it's giving these things, right? This, that, and the third, like, you know, distasteful. And I know there is like, okay, let's talk about, it seems like distasteful is no problem if you say distasteful. But I think what the biggest thing is that's got people bothered is the racists. They don't like the fact that, you know, your perception of an artwork that they created can render racism, or racist rhetoric or imagery or anything like that. I think that heavily bothers some people. And I understand why, right? Because, you know, if someone's saying that's not how I am, that wasn't my intent when I created it, and that's how you perceive it, that bothers me. And then now, you know, I'm going to come at you and get mad at you because you perceived it that way. I don't think you can get mad at somebody because of how they perceive something. Based off of, we have to remember, we have to add context, right? So based off of historical norms, right, of imagery that have been weaponized and used, you know, in many different places and spaces, for those specific purposes, right? Like negative purposes, to make, you know, individuals appear as less than, you know, unattractive, less humane. These are just all of the real things, y'all, right? Like education wise, like this is what historically some imagery and, you know, artwork and things and depictions of things have been purposely done to represent, right? And so I guess then it just boils down to, you know, the intent of that person. Now, one of the problems that I think I have the most is that even if that wasn't the intent of that person, then I feel as though that person should be able to have a calm and a cool and collective conversation, right? About, you know, what their intent was behind creating that piece of art. I think they should be able to hear someone out who is, you know, perceiving that art in a way. And if that is not the intent behind that artwork, I think the first thing to do is not to become defensive about it. I think it's to be open to have a conversation and really get down to the core and the root of like, okay, well, I respect and I understand that, you perceive this image or, this video or whatever in this type of way. But let me assure you, this is not, how it was created to be. That was not the intent behind it. Let me explain to you, what my intent behind creating this imagery was. I feel like that's a proper conversation set. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't understand why we cannot have these type of conversations. If something is perceived and we see and we feel it based off of our history, that it is giving off very much racist. I know that is a difficult term and that is hard for people to, swallow. But if I'm saying to you, like, yo, this depiction of this cartoon or anything like that, right, that you have created and you made, I'm telling you, it's giving off racist vibes. I think that person should be able to understand that and not become defensive. And I think if they do become defensive, then that's almost a red flag that, number one, you don't care how the imagery and the artwork makes a demographic or certain individuals within that demographic feel. You don't care about that, and you don't want to further explain or break down your artwork or your piece to prove to people or show people, like, I understand you feel that way, but this is not how it was created to be. And let me explain to you why and break it down. Boom, boom, boom. This is why. All of the things why. And so, that's just one of the things that I have to say, like, on that. And we know on this platform, this is one instance, but it is not the only instance. There's very, very many instances where we know that images, AI images to be specific, because a lot of us use AI and stuff like that, are created to humiliate, and to, really tear somebody down. Images comparing someone to monkeys and apes, the same way they compare. And we seen that, right, y'all? This isn't, because I do politics and stuff. So the government, political sector, we seen how the same thing happened to Barack and Michelle Obama. Somebody thought that it was a joke to depict them as apes and monkeys dancing through a jungle. And then when pressed and when approached about it, then they gaslight or try to gaslight somebody by saying it was a depiction of the Lion King. The Lion King? The Lion King is about lions. The Lion King is not about apes and monkeys and gorillas. There was like one monkey I remember from the Lion King, and that was the bamboo. I think, what was it? I think it was like a bamboon, and that was Nafiki. Nafiki knows the way. That was the only monkey that I seen in the Lion King, right? That was a main character or whatnot. I didn't see no apes, no gorillas, and nothing like that in the Lion King. But you see what I'm saying? Like, to make an excuse as weak as that, like, oh yeah, that was just a depiction of, a scene from the Lion King. That is not a scene from the Lion King. That was racist. You were depicting the only Black president and Black first lady as monkeys and apes and gorillas. And then you tried to gaslight and get people to believe it was a depiction of a movie called The Lion King that we all have seen multiple renditions of. There is come on, no way. And so when that type of stuff happens, it's like, now I'm going to start to get a little bit upset because you're playing in my face and you're playing with my intelligence. No way, no how. You know what I mean? Like, no, you don't get to do that. But when you call these things out, it's like there can be a lie and someone who wants to gaslight and pretend that it's something else that it's not. It's the same concept. It's the same concept. And those are the things that make people frustrated. Those are the things that make people angry. Because now you're playing in our faces and you're playing with our intelligence. We see it for what it is, you know? And we're not crazy about that because historically, we know what these representations mean. We know what these images mean, what they have been placed historically throughout time to insult Black people. It hits hard. It's deep rooted. And if someone says that they're not racist, they say they love everyone, they care about people, right? Whether, you know, those people within their group or, you know, all different races. If you have Black people that you love and you care about within your group and your race, I do understand that, you know, and unfortunately, we do even have some Black people, and I experienced that today over on Nick Mountain Ghost channel, that will sit up there and say, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I didn't have no problem with it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was uplifting for the spirit. And I can't say to that person that maybe they did, you know, that they did not feel that way when they seen that imagery. Maybe they did. Maybe they really didn't have an issue with it. But my problem is if there's someone else or other people that are saying, well, okay, we hear what she's saying, and you know, she didn't have a problem with it, uplifted her, made her laugh and giggle, but we didn't like it. We thought it was disrespectful, and we thought it depicted inappropriate and racism. Why can't we have that conversation, right? In a healthy way, in an open way, to where you take what these people also equally feel into consideration as well when they have perceived and, you know, downloaded in their mind and try to, you know, take a look at your artwork. That's the feeling that it gave them. That's what it came off to them. But see, when that happens, then now these people are a problem. These people are a problem, and these people get attacked. These people are nasty work. These people are, you know, they dislike you, they're hateful, they're mean, you know, anything negative that you can say about these people, they'll start to now get titles, right? They'll start to now get titles and labels instead of a mature person just saying, oh, wow, you know, I didn't know you perceived it that way. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. Because I didn't mean for it to come off that way. That wasn't my intent. But it's like, to say that, that's one thing. But to say or make someone feel as though that they're being problematic because they're telling you the way I perceived their artwork to be was racist and distasteful. Oh, you're a problem. Oh, you're always starting trouble. Oh, you know, you're negative, you're this, you're that, all of the things, right? Now it goes into immediate deflection, and it goes into immediate defense mode. And my question is, why would you go into immediate defense mode if you meant no harm by it? And that wasn't your goal, or that wasn't your intent. Why are you so upset? If I know that my goal and my intent wasn't to, you know, make an artwork or artistic expression, excuse me, to be offensive or, you know, showcase or, you know, paint a picture of distastefulness or racistness, or even just, and let's be clear, like when a lot of this artwork is being done, right, outside of comedy, I don't think a lot of it is done just for the simple fact of comedy. I think it's to embarrass people. I think it's to make someone look bad. I think it's to mock someone. I think there's negative thoughts and feelings behind the intentional creation of these type of images. I think it goes way beyond just the hee hee ha ha laugh for comedic purposes. I don't think that. And that's my personal opinion. I can't be sure. Okay. I think it's, to really hurt people. Hurt people. And so, that's my personal opinion when it comes to that. That is all I, said. And look, like I said, I was not the only one. I was not the only one who perceived it that way. I was not the only one who felt that that depiction of that animation was extremely inappropriate, distasteful, and racist, right? Like there's other individuals on YouTube, friends, even my family, right, that I had sent this image to. I asked them because I said, am I crazy? I was like, yo, when you look at these images right here, my boyfriend, I was like, yo, when you look at these images and stuff right here like this, I was like, yo, what this look like to you? Now, some people think it's funny. But I'm telling you, a majority of the people that I spoke to, they didn't think it was funny. They thought it was distasteful. And they thought that it was in too much of close proximity to previous imagery that has been made for the sole purpose to mock, to belittle, and to, paint a narrative and a picture of like hate or disdain towards a certain race. Because historically, those images have been compared to a certain race of people for the exact purpose to hurt, to embarrass, to mock, to belittle, to dehumanize. I'll be saying that word wrong all the time. To humiliate, all of those things, right? That historically is what those type of imageries have historically represented. And in modern day, yeah, AI is doing it now. Maybe not painting it with a paintbrush or drawing it on a mural or sketching it. You know what I mean? With a coal pen or a coal pencil. I'm sorry, a coal pencil. But same concept. Same concept. And if somebody perceives it that way, I just feel as though if you did truly care how these people feel, how these people think, and they perceive things, you care about their feelings, then you would take that into consideration and you would have that open conversation without feeling like you're being attacked and without attacking that person back for just clearly saying their perception of your artwork came off very distasteful and very racist. You can explain to those people why it's not that, why they're wrong. You can explain that. But when you become immediately defensive, I think that's a red flag. I think that is a red flag. Let me look at the chat, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm just talking and talking and talking. Okay, so let me see what they're saying. V-Love say, yes, voice of reasoning, awesome if warranted. That's when a person character comes into play. Either you trust me, either side, or you don't. But never say this nor that on both. Yes, try not to get up in someone else's beef. We really don't know each other. Oh, Imani. Hey, Imani. She said, so are you basically taking back everything we said in our last? No, no, I'm not taking that back. Wow. Giving off is shouting and screaming. Giving what? Wow. What the fuck? Giving off it, shouting and screaming. Shaking my head. Good night. Have a great evening. Okay. And then Viking Hotep says, cheers. Okay. Imani, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think she said good night. So I'm not sure. I have to find out. Well, I'm not sure what you mean. No, no, I was not taking back what we said in our best. I was reiterating that. But I was just trying to speak in a calm tone and voice this evening or whatnot. Yeah. So aside from that, okay, we talked about that. We talked about V Goddess, so we also talked about Nick Mountain Goat. And then the ties when it comes to V Goddess to Nick Mountain Goat, to what I really think is true. I did feel as though, yeah, I feel as though you put that imagery on V Goddess channel for plausible deniability. But then I was saying, like, I guess you was trying to double down because we said that. Me and Imani said that yesterday on our live and called you out on it. So you doubled down today and decided, I believe, to play it on your own channel. Okay. But only when, that was called out did you decide to do so. But initially, you put that content on someone else's channel. It's your art. You made it. And then I heard earlier from these people about, do you know the song? Do you know about the song? The song, the song, the song. It all kept being wrapped around and, really honing into the song because they said that the video that they made was derived from the song and the lyrics in the song. They was laughing, right? Because I had pointed out, a few things as far as the Easter eggs and whatnot that were in the video. And so I felt like, I can't fully understand in the video, right? Number one, why half of the things was in there in the first place, right? Like what you're making a music video. What is the story that you're trying to tell within this animated music video? So we got the black guy. We know who the black guy is. He's a content creator. And this specific content creator, most of these individuals do not like and do not get along with and have a, some type of history with him that is not positive, right? So you make this music video and the black man in the music video is this content creator. And this content creator is been very open and vocal about, he's doing homesteading and things like that on the farms. And so, there's supposed to be these, depictions of, I guess, farm spaces and farm areas and stuff. But then there's also some depictions of jungles. I never seen this content creator say or express, that he was spending any time in a jungle. So, it's like, I don't know what all of this artistic expression is. However, that's my thing. If you're asking somebody, if you're confused about their art that they've created and you're asking them for clarity on, what were you doing with this piece? You know what I'm saying? Like with this artwork or whatnot that you created, what story were you trying to tell? What imagery were you trying to get across? We're curious, because from what we are perceiving from it, it's all kind of all over the place and it's not making a lot of sense. And at the core, like we said, it's coming off a bit distasteful and racist. So if someone is asking for clarity about that, then you should be able to break down your artwork and be like, explain to the people what did you have in mind when you created this piece? You know, you got this man and he's got a crystal and he's running all around. He's on some type of farm on one portion. He's in the woods on one portion. He's in the jungle on one portion. There's chickens and chicken coops. There's a chicken leg, a fried chicken leg with a bite out of it that's on the ground next to his feet that are covered in mud, that are sitting next to what looks like to be like some Converses, you know, like the Converse sneakers and stuff like that. There's this gorilla ape or Sasquatch looking thing that's you know, running around in the video as well. In one of the scenes, the gorilla Sasquatch ape has smoke coming out of his mouth, like it was, you know, smoking a cigarette, smoking maybe something different. Definitely smoking, because smoke was coming out the mouth while holding on to a vine, right? There is another character that seems to be a Caucasian man that has a machete, you know, like on his side as a weapon, and he's running all around in the jungle, in the forest, or wherever it is they're at. There's no real understanding as to why he's running around with that machete like that. And it, to me, is like the black man was running first, and then this white character is running around with the machete on his side second. So it was almost giving that the white guy with the machete was chasing down the black guy, or vice versa. I don't know. It's all very weird and kind of all over the place. And it's like, you know, you can't be really fully sure of what story is being told here, right? In that animation, it's just all of these random things. At one point, the black guy who's a content creator, he's running through the cornfield with a crystal, you know, multiple times when you see him, he has a crystal. So that's how you kind of know, you know, who they are honing in on, you know, that content creator that they're trying to, you know, portray in that video. So he's running around with this crystal the whole time, whether it's the jungle setting, a forest looking setting, a farm looking setting. I believe we seen what was that animal that was in there? It was another animal that was in there. Oh, a goat, right? And Nick Mountain Goat made it. So I don't know if that was like, you know, like her signature that she added, you know, into the video. But then this is the thing too, right? So let's be very clear, because we're not gonna lie. So Nick Mountain Goat, I have watched before this video come out and seen her over on Vampy's channel and in the chat, and have been roasting and making fun of this content creator around the conversation that, you know, there could be, you know, some additional funds that could be needed or necessary, right? So they could obtain a goat fence for the goats that are on the farm, right? They're trying to build this fence, right, to keep the goats safe and keep them within this proximity on this certain space within on the farm. And so he was just asking, you know, some of his supporters or whatnot, if you're able, if you can, you know, if you want to make a donation, it will go towards getting the fence, you know, to keep these goats within this proximity, right? And so I recall Nick seeing her after she has heard this and stuff, making fun and poking fun at the fact, you know, that, you know, the donations could possibly go towards a fence to keep, you know, to get this goat fence to keep the goats within a certain proximity within the farm safe, right? And so she's making fun of that and laughing at that, right? And you know, well, she's Nick Mountain Goat. And so, and then there was a commentary that she made where it's like, you know, she's not seeing not one goat yet. She's looking for the goats. Where are the goats? There's no goats. He doesn't show any videos or pictures of the goats. So, again, context. So if that's the commentary that you already have been having, a distrust or, you know, some type of like mockery or whatnot towards the fact, you know, that you know, a goat fence was needed, and you're already making fun of this in Vampy's chat and other people channels chats, and then days later you make a parody video of this man running around or whatnot and all of these different sceneries, and then this one random thing is like there's one goat that's in the parody, right? So that being said, the parody that you made, I don't know if you still feel as though it was funny or not, because you already were having some type of disdain, whether it's comedy or whether it's lack of belief or trust or whatever, about the whole situation, right? And the person, where they are, what's going on, what they're building, what they're trying to achieve and obtain at this location. You already were poking fun of that in chats by laughing, right, and clowning at what this person was presenting as far as what they're trying to do on this property. You did that first, and then you went on to create a parody or a video that you thought, I guess, what was this supposed to be, comical, or was it supposed to be like an expose or dragging somebody, as far as satire, and so that's the thing for me. It's like, and I talked about that on my live, one of my other lives that I did, right? Because, as of recent, we've seen that there is a very distasteful joke that was made during the Kevin Hart roast, right? When it came to George Floyd. And some people will think that certain things are funny and it's just a joke and it's satire. And some people will find it heavily offensive, or what I mean, like poking fun at somebody, or basically like coming at somebody. So, when it comes to like these parodies and these jokes and these things that can be created, I think it's the intent that's behind it. And so I think what really all tied into a lot of, the questions that we had around this video is, what is your intent? What is your intent behind this? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think it's funny? Are you trying to poke fun and embarrass or make fun of someone? And again, the depictions, and my whole question is, on a farm, right? If someone is homesteading on a farm, like, where do you think a gorilla or a Sasquatch is supposed to come from? Like, no one's. Are you depicting a horror movie now? Like, is this supposed to be a sci-fi or a horror movie where someone is staying on a farm or something like that, homesteading, and a random gorilla or a random Sasquatch just pops out? Like, I'm not really understanding what's really funny about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, if that is supposed to tie into like some type of satire or comedy, for me, it doesn't hit. For other people, it may hit. It might be, their type of comedy. But for me, it's not my type of comedy. I'm not seeing what's really funny about that. What I am seeing is, like I said, what comes to my mind when I think about these things is historically, when it comes to apes and monkeys and gorillas and Sasquatches, they have been heavily tied into racial history. And so when I say something is giving to me that it is like racist or prejudice or whatever you want to call it, that's exactly what I meant when I said it, because that's all I'm getting from that imagery. A ape, a gorilla, a monkey, a Sasquatch running around, and all of these different formations, right? Whether it's the depiction of the farm area, or the depiction of the woods, or the depiction of the jungle. But there's this ape and this Sasquatch running around. There's a bitten out of chicken leg that's rolling around on the ground. There are mangoes. There's yams around. Red peppers. random, like very random things. I'm not getting it. But they say that these imageries were pulled from the song. Okay. There's imagery of this black man in a cornfield. A cornfield. Okay. So, some people say, oh, well, it's a cornfield. It could be children of the corn, it could be a horror movie, whatever. I do feel as though people think sometimes that they're very clever. And so what would be too obvious is if you make it a tobacco field or a cotton field. So instead of making it that, you make it a cornfield. I don't remember this individual ever saying they were growing any corn or walking through or showing any, footage of being around or in close proximity to a cornfield on the property. Like, I'm not understanding what the imagery of the video is for and what it's about. Like, and I don't know, if any of y'all feel or think the same way. I'm not getting it at all. Like, I'm not getting how it's not funny to me. None of it is funny. And none of it even adds up. I'm trying to make sense of, like, where did you get these? It comes from the song. Okay. So you scoured, I don't know what, your playlist on the internet for a song where it just so happened, this one song just so happened to have all of, these kind of racist imageries. That one song had all of that in there to where it made it easy when you decided to create an AI cartoon music video or video, I don't know if it's a music video, but video in general. That song just happened to have all of those racial depictions that we have historically known that have been tied to racial issues, right? And racism. I just, maybe if I'm lying, I'm flying. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm being overly dramatic. But I'm just trying to break it down for y'all so y'all can understand a little bit more where my mindset is at and where I'm coming from with it. I'm not fully understanding what is the purpose of the video. What is the purpose? I don't get it. I do not get it. It makes no sense whatsoever. But anyway, moving along. Okay. So now as we move along, that was Nick Mountain Goat. We know that she's known for making, her videos and her imagery and her songs and her jingles and things like that. So now moving along to the next person, which this is Snoopy. Now, when it comes to Snoopy, I've already said this before. I guess I have to say it again just to be very clear. I've never had any issues with Snoopy. Never had none with her. I seen her around a few times, like I said, where she had left comments under videos that I had completed, and she had popped into my chat a few times when I was on the live. And this was before she even had her channel, her platform that I know of. And I will say that I know of. At that time, I didn't see her making content or, videos or lives or anything like that. She was just supporting or popping into people's channels and being around. Right? So that's the first time I was introduced to her. And then I guess she went on to go ahead and grow her channel and get her channel set up and decide to do content and whatever it is she see fit to do over there, which we can see now, what it typically is daily. And so I didn't have no issue with her. However, the issue she had with me is apparently, with a certain content creator in places and spaces that, she decided to be in regularly, I guess to show support or whatever, hang out, kick it, I don't know. Some type of disconnect happened within that space. And I guess she navigated away from it or maybe she was asked to leave from it. I can't be sure. Again, before my time, before I came around. I don't know how all of that went down. And ever since then, it just seems like she's been upset about some type of, actions or behaviors or treatments that she said she gotten, at in these certain places and spaces or whatnot that she was. And other people attest that that's their story as well. So most of them, are collaborating with the same story and experience. And so now they're upset. They didn't like it. And they're no longer there. They've moved on. And this, again, is, I can recall, is from like about a year or a year and a half ago that some of this stuff went down. So that's what I know about Snoopy. Once she started and I seen she was doing content on her channel, it just seemed like every time, I was going to her channel to see what type of content she made, it was just her, popping people, exposing people, putting up chat, screenshots of chats, playing audios, expose culture, I guess, right? Exposing someone, whoever, for whatever reason she sees fit, whenever she sees fit to do it. That seemed to be the gist of the content that I've ever seen on her channel, right? Can't say that, maybe there is different content there, but from what I've seen, that's all it consistently seems to be. And she speaks and she's very angry and she's upset. She wants to call people out and bust people out and all those things. So that's the type of content that she makes. And so, I know that there was a day where, one of the people that I do support, right? And a lot of people, they have to say what they have to say when it comes to that, but I do support, was telling me about Snoopy and saying that her content that she's making is starting to become really egregious and nasty because she is putting out people's personal information as far as like doxing and things of that nature. And so I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right, let me go check it out, see what's going on. I don't understand why people do those things. It's not something that I'm into. I don't do that, but I have heard that on this platform. And I do know that on this platform, that is something that people do regularly. Like, exposing people personal business and information, putting out their telephone numbers, addresses, names, medical records, past, criminal records, histories, and all of these things. And so their ages, their identities, all of that. And so I'm just like, okay, well, what's the purpose? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is she doing that? And why do she feel as though she have to expose these type of things about people? What if, like what? This is my thing. What is the moral of the story? Like, what have these people done to you? Like, did they roll over your puppy? Did they break into your home? Like, did they wipe your bank account dry? I'm not sure why people go out of their way to do the things that they do. For me, I could care less. I'm not going to be doing that. I don't care about people's personal business and information because I think it's just that, people's personal business and information. And I don't care to talk about that all day, every day, and make that my content on my channel. That's just me, right? But apparently this is the type of content that she makes and will put, this type of information out about individuals, whoever it is she deems or she sees fit to expose or, drag up their information at the time. And so, this is what I start seeing. And I was like, oh, that's nasty work. You know what I'm saying? Because that's type of stuff that I don't stand by and I don't support. Right. And then I found out that she was doing these type of things. And the person that's like, considered to be cool with me, you know what I'm saying? Like my associate, whatever, cool, friend, whatever you want to call it, was telling me that this person, Snoopy, was doing this to her, putting out her personal business and information. And also another person that she's cool with was doing that to her. And these people have children, right? So, now the children is involved and all of that stuff. So I thought that was nasty. And I looked at some of that, content, and I decided to give my thoughts and feelings and opinions about it. So that's the first time I started talking about Snoopy and her content and what I really thought about it. And yes, I took to my channel to do a live to speak on it, right? Um, and so I guess that was strike one, or that ignited the war or whatever, because I had an opinion or a feeling that I wanted to, put out or get across on my platform about how she was conducting her content and, doing all of this exposing and putting out people personal business, right? So I had comments and thoughts and feelings and opinions that I wanted to speak on about that. And I guess that pissed her off. And that's when, the wars began, if you would call it that. Or she had me in her radar or whatever, her sights. And so ever since then, it's like, she's then got upset with me and mad with me. She didn't like the things that I said, I guess, in that live, in that video. And so she started talking about me and actually, like bringing up a lot of like my history on YouTube and places and spaces that I've been, like every channel that I've been on, every, chat that I've been in, certain things that I've said when I was in those chats. Like she keeps very close tabs on all of that, not just when it comes to me, but many others as well. So she, apparently she gets around and she watches and she sees everything, that people are saying and doing and where they go. So, she started making content and stuff on that and speaking on me. And yeah, the way I get, after a few times, I let it slide. But after that, it started becoming so consistent and so hateful with a lot of the commentary that she paired with these actions of like searching out where people are at, what they're saying in chats and all these things. Her commentary that paired with a lot of that stuff was, really slimy coming out of her mouth. She was really talking slick out the side of her mouth. And so that rubbed me the wrong way. And I did go on to, respond and have some choice words with her about that. And it's kind of just been going back and forth ever since. And there's also this huge elephant in the room, child, but we're just gonna go ahead and put it out there. A lot of these people that have problems with me and others, and yes, all the names that I just named, I said Snoopy, I said Nick, I said Vampy and V Goddess. One of the common denominators with all of these people is that at some point in time, they had some type of encounter on, platforms or whatnot, whether it's YouTube or Discord or anything like that, with a content creator. And it is Ralph. Let's just go ahead and put that out there, Ralph. And so whatever fallouts or issues or disdain or whatnot they have with this guy, like I said, a lot of stuff happened before my time, before I came in. I don't really fully know the history behind all of these things and how they move and shake and operate. But for whatever reason, these women and additional other women that are not necessarily all content creators, but some are just supporters, and they come in the chats and stuff like that. They all equally say that they have had some type of disdain or issue or fallout or mistreatment at the hands of this content creator, and they're very upset and in their feelings about it. And one of the reasons why they don't like me is because, despite whatever they experienced they had, they couldn't understand why I would still support someone, who has treated them in such a way. And when they tried to tell, they say when they tried to tell or shared their experiences and their stories about it, that I basically dismissed them and didn't believe them and didn't take them seriously. And that is a lot of the reason why they don't like me. And they keep, basically dragging me and talking about me, sometimes. So it all ties into a lot of that. Okay. And so I had put two and two together and paid attention to the patterns. A lot of that is what it boils down to. And then one of the things that they have been so happy, and celebratory about, is because, sometimes people are getting along great, and sometimes every now and then you may have, you bump heads or you fall out or something, or something may happen or whatever. And so because some things have transpired and happened, with me and that certain content creator, there is now, like a lot of bliss that's coming from some of these individuals, because I guess now I'm experiencing some of the things that they said they've experienced or they claim to experience. And, now they're like, okay, I guess you finally get it now because, it finally has happened to you. So now you believe and, now you see and all of these things, like, trying to make an example out of it all. And they, like to joke and clown and, really get happy and blissful when it comes to that. So, that's Snoopy and some of her followers and people, that support her, that be in her chat. They all literally, move kind of with those same type of talking points and energy. And I guess that's the reason why they hate me as well. And when these people say nasty things about me, and then they also bring my mother into it, I think, way back, there were even people that were speaking and talking about my son, which he's only 3. And so when those type of things happen, and I see people coming for my people, right? Because it's one thing if you come for me. I signed up for this. I signed up to be a content creator. I signed up to be on YouTube. My mom also is a content creator on YouTube, but she does slightly different, from what we do over here. She's doing her spiritual thing over trying to be in a, like the spiritual sector, uplifting content, gospel, things like that, right? But also, she do got a temper, and we are human. So, we move and we operate the way we do. You are human. It is what it is. You're not perfect. But yeah, so these people, when they come for me, that's one thing. But when they start coming from my mom, they coming from my son, things like that. Yeah, that kind of takes me out of character. And I will address these people and approach these people, and I have a mouthful to say, and my energy is probably not going to be pleasant, So I have responded in those type of ways towards these individuals, when it comes to that type of stuff. And so I guess that's another reason why they don't like me, I guess, because I responded or retaliated against them, whatever. I can't be sure. But it's the ongoing daily uh like every day basically on these platforms. And like I said, the main platform that I see a lot of stuff going down on is on Vampy or V Goddess platform. Everybody takes to that platform and join on in, pack on in, and they talk about everybody. A lot of people. Not just me. But when they start talking about me, they start talking about my mom, they start talking about my son, they try to humiliate me, roast me, make fun of me, all of these things. They have been consistently doing this. And I see it. Sometimes I don't see it, but I hear about it because people tell me what they're over there saying and what they're doing. So then I go over and I check it out, listen to it. Sometimes I don't even know they're over there talking. And then someone tells me, I'm like, oh, okay, let me go see what's going on. I'm like, oh, okay, they really, they're trying to drag me and my mom and my son for filth. All the things that they say and they do, right? And I will respond and retaliate. Yeah. So there's that. So I guess basically they hate me because of that. Outside of that, I I have not had no issue with these people that I can recall. Like I've not done anything to them. I don't really say nothing about them unless they come for me first and not respond and not retaliate. I don't be thinking about these people. I just go and do my own content, do my own thing. That's it, you know. But it's consistent. It's consistent, the things that they say and they do. And then when someone responds back to them, then now I'm the enemy, I'm the villain, I'm the bad guy. So, that's how all of that goes down. And like I said, there are people that support, these channels and these people, and they'll be in the chat as well, giving that same level of energy. And half of these people, I don't know, but they'll have a comment to say, or, a response or something to add in on to say that's negative about me, even though they've never come to my channel, to kick it for a little bit to get to know me. They've never met me in real life to even know me, but they'll sit there and they'll drag you and talk about you. So that's what they do, y'all. But I think I made everything pretty clear when it comes to, like I said, that AI video and my perception of it. And I continue to say that that's what my perception is. I can't understand for the life of me what the vision was when these, videos were being made. Like, what is the vision? What message are you trying to get across? What are you trying to portray? Because for some people, they say it's funny, but there's no real message. But I feel as though too much detail was put into the artwork or to just be simply chalked up to be comedy. I think there was some type of intent behind the creation of the artwork. It's just we're not very clear what that is. And so then that leaves people to use their own perception. Their own perception. And so that's all I was saying as far as when I watched that video, that was my perception of what I saw. That's the biggest thing that's going on right now, y'all. Outside of that, and other than that, I think it's pretty quiet, it's pretty chill, when those type of things are getting talked about, like I said, it's typically happening on a certain individual's channel. Everybody meets over there. They all dog pile in, to drag and humiliate and talk crazy work, nasty work, and trash about not just me, but my mother, my son. On V Goddess channel, they allow people to sit up there and make mockeries of my mother and cartoons of my mother, and make fun of the fact that she had a stroke. And because she has had a stroke, when she does her lives sometimes and she speaks, there's a little bit of slurred speech, and sometimes delay when it comes to, pronunciation of certain words and things like that. That's typically, the side effects from having a stroke. It can kind of affect those things for you. But this has been turned into a cartoon. This has been dragged and laughed at over at that panel with those people that go over there, all the, supporters and subscribers and things like that. Yeah, I've heard all of that. I've seen all of that. Like I said, these people can drag me, they can talk about me, I can handle it. You know what I'm saying? I got you. No problem. But to poke fun as someone who is disabled, as someone who has suffered a stroke, and even make cartoon characters of her because, they like to make fun of the fact that she is, a Christian, a religious person. She reads her Bible. She goes to church. They've made cartoon characters making fun of her because of that. They try to talk about my parenting as a mother when it comes to my son, even though my son is with me all day, every day, even when I'm on lives. I'm pretty sure people can hear them most of the time because he's always around. I'm always taking care of my son. He's taken care of pretty well. But they'll try to use that and drag that. Whatever it is they can find that I think that's vulnerable and sensitive to you, those are the things that they go in at, first and foremost, because they know that it's a trigger. Somebody coming for your mama, come on now, that suffered a stroke and is disabled and in her 60s, come on now. Somebody coming for your son that you had, that you created, that came up out of you, that's 3 years old, coming for your cup, and coming for the lioness of the family. It's just okay. But of course, when people exude that type of energy towards you and then you respond or you pop out, to respond or stand up to protect your mother and your son, then now you become, the nasty work, the villain, and the terrible person. All because you're just not going to tolerate somebody sitting there talking about your loved ones like that. And I've not talked about any of these people's family ever. Never, ever, ever said anything about their family, nothing about their mother. I don't know who has children, who doesn't, but if they do have children, I've never said anything about these people's children, their spouse, nothing, unwarranted. But anyway, y'all, that's all I got to say on that. I ain't got no more. I'm going to go ahead and end this live. Thank y'all for listening. I just wanted to gain a little bit more of clarity. With basically expressing what I was trying to have a conversation about in a mature and a calm way earlier with Nick Mountain Goat and over on that platform. But of course, more satire, more laughing, more jokes, more clownery. So we couldn't have a open, full conversation. And I wasn't even able to gain any clarity about even, the artistic expression behind that video. I did have some legitimate questions, but it is what it is. I came over here to just clarify things in a very calm, nice tone. And that's it. I hope y'all got a pretty good understanding when it comes to that. And I appreciate everybody who came in to listen, even if you was in the bush or if you was in the chat. I appreciate that very much. I hope everybody has a good rest of the evening, child. I'm about to go lay it down. And I will see y'all tomorrow on another live. We got more political stuff coming up. So thank you so much, y'all. Everybody have a good one. Holding out. Bye.
They don't know her like I do. Nah. Golden. She moved through the city with her hair held high. Pretty brown skin with a storm inside. Everybody see the glow, they don't know the pressure. Smile so warm, but her heart no weather. Late nights riding while the skyline blur. Trying not to cry when the memories occurred. Had to learn fast, everybody ain't loyal. Some people love you long as they control you. Now she move careful, energy expensive. Too many fake vibes hiding in the friendship. Used to give love with her hands wide open. Now every scar got the whole vibe frozen. They don't know her like I. No, they don't know. She goes by golden, soft voice, deep so hope or glowing. She goes by golden. City lights dancing with her heart stay open. Long dark road, but she still stay focused. Everybody watching, but they don't really know her. By golden. Too much grace with the games they throwing. Real love, rare, so spirits they got it. Beautiful soul, but the pain left marks in it. Mirror to
tell the truth when the lights go dim. All the things she carry weight heavy within. She survived nights she don't even speak on. Still finding peace what the whole world ain't wrong. Funny how the love disappear when you're healing. Funny how the fate come around when you win. Now she trusts God more than people intend. Just 'cause smiles hot and being hidden in the big. She's still soft-hearted but she way less naive. Can't keep pouring love where there's nothing received. Still dancing slow through the hurt and confusion. Trying not to lose herself chasing illusions. She survived the fire. Still glowing through the smoke. Still sad. Still dangerous. Still chosen. She goes back golden. Snow so deep made the whole room notice. Heavy lies couldn't break what was chosen. Still standing tall while the whole world folding. She goes back golden. Heartbreak turned to pains in the matter. Now the tears got rhythm when she's singing. And they still don't know her like that. They still don't know her like that. Spend too much time looking for love in strangers. Spend too much time. Spend too much time letting outside voices shake the mirror. But at the end of the night, when the lights fade, when the city cried, when the tears dried, we still got